Buckle up, because today we're diving into Iron Man 78 from 2004, an issue packed with high-stakes action, political intrigue, and one of Tony Stark's boldest career moves. We've got exclusive insights from writer John Jackson Miller, a hidden connection with Iron Man 3, and even a very suspicious George W. Bush cameo. Skrull? Symbiote? Art mistake? We'll break it all down. Plus the throwback suits, the comic's real-world impact, and some wild ads from 2004. Extreme Jello pudding sticks, anyone? Hit like, subscribe, and let's dive into this overlooked gem from the Golden Avengers history. Iron Man number 78 is part 6 of the Best Defense storyline written by John Jackson Miller. It picks up immediately after issue 77, which saw Tony Stark's attempt at becoming Secretary of Defense go down in flames after crooked politician Sonny Birch legally takes possession of all of Stark's tech. After Birch's mishandling of the tech goes awry and triggers an automated missile attack on a cargo plane, which is free-falling directly into Washington, Iron Man suits up to save the day. The harrowing rescue has soldiers donning older Stark suits and jumping out of the doomed jet, while Iron Man avoids catastrophe on the ground and saves many lives. Afterwards, while recovering at a nearby hospital, Stark learns that in a special session of Senate they voted a second time and confirmed his appointment as Secretary of Defense. The story continues in issue 79. As mentioned, the story is written by John Jackson Miller. Miller's first professional comics work appeared just the year prior in Crimson Dynamo for Marvel, which led to this run on Iron Man from issue 73 to 85. Speaking exclusively to Read the Freaking Comics, Miller discusses his time on this issue. I mapped out the plane crash and what I sent to penciler and inker Jorge Lucas in such detail that I put at the bottom of my emails that it was just for a comic book, in case the NSA was wondering. It's my favorite cover for my run, and the only one the cover artist Adi Granov drew based on my suggestion. Note that it's the DoD seal and not the US one on the cover. It's the only issue from the run I have slabbed. We know that this book went to the movie folks. It's how you get Christine Everard and one of the other generals named in the first movie, and I've always wondered if 78's action scene might have influenced the plane sequence in the third movie. Maybe, maybe not. Cool thought though. It is the issue in the run I am proudest of, with 77 being a close second. Sort of amazing that it has never been reprinted. Speaking of Jorge Lucas, known in his native Argentina as the creator of the classic adult comic Cazador, meaning hunter, in the United States he is best known for his work on Marvel titles such as Inhumans, Mystique, and Wolverine. Colorist Antonio Fabela has collaborated with major publishers like Marvel and DC Comics, contributing to titles such as The Amazing Spider-Man, Superior Spider-Man, Lucifer, and Thanos. Fabela's distinctive coloring style has significantly enhanced the visual storytelling of numerous series. Beyond his coloring work, he engages with fans on social media platforms, sharing insights into his creative process and showcasing his latest projects. His contributions continue to influence the comic book industry, inspiring both readers and aspiring artists. Speaking exclusively to Read the Freaking Comics, Antonio discusses this issue. Working on that book was quite a challenge, as the penciler work, Jorge Lucas, had no shadows, so I had to define all lighting and volume of backgrounds and figures. It was fun, but it was also a lot of work. Cover artist Adi Granov is probably best known for his influence on the Iron Man suits in the first 3 Iron Man films. In 2004, Marvel editor-in-chief Joe Quesada named Granov as one of the Young Guns, a group of artists who have the qualities to make a future superstar penciler. Just a year after this issue, Granov was teamed with writer-novelist Warren Ellis for the 6-issue miniseries Iron Man Extremis. Though Iron Man at that point was considered an unpopular third-tier character, Extremis is considered one of the best Iron Man comics ever produced, revitalizing interest in the character and gaining the attention of film director Jon Favreau, who hired Granov as one of the 3 key design and concept artists for the 2008 film Iron Man. Letterer Randy Gentile is a seasoned comic book letterer who began his career as an intern at Marvel, eventually joining their in-house lettering department. He later worked with Chris Eliopoulos' Virtual Calligraphy Studio, contributing to titles such as Amazing Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and Incredible Hulk. After 7 years, Gentile transitions to freelancing, collaborating with DC Comics on series like Batman, Detective Comics, and Gotham Underground. This issue had 4 editors: Tom Brevoort, Mark Sumerak, Andy Schmidt, and Nicole Wiley. Tom Brevoort is known for his editorial work on New Avengers, Civil War, and Fantastic Four. He became executive editor in 2007, and in 2011 he was promoted to additionally serve as senior vice president of publishing. Mark Schumach's credits include work on The Avengers, Thor, and Fantastic Four. He was a member of the Marvel editorial team from 1999 to 2003. He is known for his work on Marvel's all-ages Power Pack series, as well as the Eisner Award and Harvey Award-nominated Franklin Richards' Son of a Genius. Peter Andrews' Andy Schmidt was an associate editor and mainly worked on the Marvel Heroes group of titles. 4 years after this issue, Schmidt left Marvel and went to work for IDW Publishing, editing Star Trek and the revival of G.I. Joe. Nicole Wiley is a former editor for Marvel, where she edited titles including Cable and Deadpool, Iron Man, and Stephen King's Dark Tower adaptation. She's also part of the editorial team that produced Marvel Illustrated adaptation of literary classics. Editor-in-chief at this time was Joe Quesada. Quesada became known in the 1990s for his work on various Valiant comic books, such as Ninjak and Solar, Man of the Atom. He later worked on numerous books for DC and Marvel, such as Batman, Sword of Azrael, and X-Factor, before forming his own company, Event Comics, where he published his creator-owned character, Ash. In 1998, he became editor of Marvel Comics' Marvel Knights line, before becoming editor-in-chief of the company in 2000. He was named Chief Creative Officer for Marvel Entertainment in 2010. So how exactly does one become Secretary of Defense? Well, it is a lot less exciting than it is in the comics. The Secretary of Defense, who is the head of the Department of Defense, is appointed from civilian life by the President, and by and with advice and consent of the Senate. And what does the Secretary of Defense do? The Secretary of Defense oversees the Defense Department and acts as the principal defense policymaker and advisor. At one point, Iron Man instructs a jet fighter to deploy chaff. What does that mean? Well, jet chaff is a radio frequency countermeasure released by military aircraft, ships, and vehicles to confuse enemy radar. Chaff consists of aluminum-coated glass fibers about 70 to 80 centimeters long and is released in packets of 50 to 100 million fibers. Its purpose is to confuse enemy missiles. As a wonderful throwback to the Iron Man suits gone by, there are 2 panels in this issue that showcases a series of older suits worn by military personnel to save their lives while jumping out of a crashing plane. Let's dive into them. 1 and 2 here seem to be wearing a variant of the Model 1 armor. They look similar, but you can see differences in the waist area. 3 is wearing Model 4, as you can tell by the waist and 2 nodules above the chest piece. 4 is wearing Model 2, you can tell by the diagonal lines in his upper chest and the 2 nodules below his chest piece. 5 is a bit of a mystery, as I've never seen armor with vertical lines like this. The remaining all seem to be wearing variants of all the armor mentioned above. Has anyone ever noticed George Bush's wonky hand in this panel? Did he end up being a Skrull or a symbiote at a later point? What's up with that? This issue, as many others written in that era, is full of post-9/11 anxieties about uncontrolled power, fear of terrorism, and unabashed patriotism. I mean, he's holding the American flag on the cover, people. Writer John Jackson Miller later admitted that he was eager to put Tony inside the politics of Washington after so many years of being a pacifist. Our main antagonist for the story is Sonny Burch, who, by robbing Stark of his inventions and haphazardly handing them over to the military, creates a ticking time bomb when the technology gets away from him. I really love Jorge Lucas' work on this issue. His balance of colors and tone ground the work in reality. I love the throwback to all the old suits. There's plenty on display for any Iron Man fan to eat up. The inclusion of George Bush at the end is a bit much. I get how the country is feeling at the time, and while it does make a small bit of sense given the plot, I don't think I would have gone that route. This issue does not appear to have increased in value in recent years. ComicBookRealm.com, Amazon, and eBay listed between $3 and $5. Midtown Comics has a near mint version going for $3.75. May 2024 saw a release of John Wheaton's new title, Astonishing X-Men, rocket to the top of the charts. It was the best-selling comic of the month. Interestingly, Marvel released an unprecedented 3 issues of Iron Man that month, and while Iron Man 78 did not make the top 300 list of the year, 81, 82, and 83 did. The top 300 comics sold 6.25 million issues, which was up 10% from the previous year. The total retail price was $17.83 million, which was also an improvement from the previous year. The top 5 selling comics were Astonishing X-Men number 1, Superman number 205, Superman Batman number 10, Secret War number 2, and Uncanny X-Men number 444. Marvel sold 2.9 million units that month, making them the top seller, with DC not far behind at 2.2 million. The top-selling titles were Astonishing X-Men, Ultimate Spider-Man, Secret War, and Uncanny X-Men. Iron Man was in 9th place with 84,000 units sold, or about 40% of what X-Men did. 2004 was still a period of recovery and resurgence for Marvel after the bankruptcy of the late 1990s. CEO Avery Arad and later Isaac Perlmutter managed to stabilize the company thanks to licensing deals and some early Marvel Studio movie titles. In terms of popularity, Marvel was experiencing a creative resurgence with strong runs on titles like The Amazing Spider-Man, New Avengers, and Astonishing X-Men. Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Millar were redefining storytelling at Marvel, with Bendis launching Avengers Disassembled, which would reshape the Avengers franchise, and Millar's Ultimates influencing future film adaptations. Iron Man, while not Marvel's flagship character, was gaining more prominence. His Extremis storyline, written by Warren Ellis and art by Adi Granov, modernized the character, reimagining Tony Stark's technology in a way that influenced the 2008 film. Marvel's influence on the comic book industry was significant, as it embraced modernized storytelling, digital comics, and cinematic storytelling that would soon change superhero media forever. Advertising in comics was still popular in 2004, and there are several movies, games, products, and junk food ads in this issue. The two movie titles were Going to the Mat and Scooby-Doo 2, featuring Linda Cardellini as Velma. She would go on to play Laura Barton in the MCU. Nintendo featured an ad for a Pokemon game, while Scooby-Doo was featured in a second ad, this time for a series of DVDs. Scholastic Books and Dynamic Forces figures had ads running, as well as a Hulk Spider-Man action figure playset, which looks cool. There were some odd ads for haircuts featuring Marvel characters. How does Cap cut hair with gloves on? Jell-O was selling extreme Jell-O pudding sticks. These were eventually discontinued by Jell-O due to the fact that they were not a frozen foods manufacturer, and it proved prohibitively expensive to keep producing and storing this ice treat. There were two sweepstakes promoted in this issue. One was a cross-promotion from NBC and Toys R Us. The other was a Campbell's Soup contest, where the winner could have 3 friends stay at a mansion for a week with their own butler, chef, and limo. A quick search shows that mysoup.com is now defunct, but still owned by the same registrar. So I'm assuming Campbell's is holding on to that domain for the next little while. This week, I wanted to find a comic shop in the heart of Washington, D.C. If you are in the area, I suggest you check out Big Planet Comics, located at 1524 U Street Northwest in Washington, or visit bigplanetcomics.com. Thanks for checking out this video. If you want to see more, please hit like and subscribe. If you have suggestions for comics you want me to deep dive into, please leave a comment below. Please help and support real artists. AI is great for a lot of things, but not for creating art and replacing artists. Thank you.